Hi Jane, how are you doing? Right, okay, I've got to do this quickly because Andy's out and I feel a bit stupid doing it when he's in the house. So this is for you. This is crochet. We're going to start. I've got my hook and I've got my wool. Lots of it, and it's nice and thick, and my 5mm hook. And these next videos are dedicated to you, because I think when things get tough, the tough learn crochet. And that's basically all you can do, because there's nothing you can do about how crap things are right now. But what you can do is just feel nice soft wool and try your hardest to think about nothing else but learning something that you've never done before and might feel a bit stupid. Oh shit, Andy's home. Anyway, here we go. I've got my glasses, my crochet glasses, I've got my hook, and I'm going to start. Okay, this is day one, lesson one of how to crochet. There's loads of crochet tutorials on YouTube. I've seen most of them, and that's how I learned to crochet. It's the best way. However, a lot of them make it sound really complicated and really hard, and it's not that hard, it's easy. So we're starting off with the chain. All your crochet is making fabric. You want to make fabric. So here's a sock. It's made up of fabric. Now then, in crochet there are two ways of making fabric. You can either start from the very middle there and work round and round and round to form a tube, or as in a scarf, you'd start at the bottom and work backwards and forwards. And I think that's the easiest way to start, is just the back and forwards method. So then you get used to holding the hook. Again, something that's started from the middle here, and you work round and round and round. We'll start off by doing the first row, which will be a chain. I don't remember when you were a kid, you used to play with wool, or I did, and you'd just kind of like make a loop, and then you could drag other bits of wool through the loop, and you kind of make a plait like this. Well, that's basically crochet. But what you want to learn to do is to make this chain on a hook. So start off with a slip knot. It's very easy to do a slip knot. You just wrap it around your finger. Make sure you've got quite a bit of an end, so you can weave that in afterwards. Wrap it around your finger, push it through. You've got a slip knot. Now the whole point is, when making a chain, you don't want it to be too tight, and you don't want it to be too baggy either. But the whole idea is learning to hold the wool and the hook, and make sure the hook does most of the work. So there's various ways of holding the wool, and you've just got to do it in a way that's more comfortable for you. People hold it in all different kinds of ways, wrapping it around their fingers. This is how I learned, because I found it just easy to concentrate on getting that wool wrapped around the hook, round the back, always round the back. Then hold on, nip your loop and pull it through. That is your first chain stitch. Can you see? It's got a V, it's a V shape. That's one chain. So hold on to the little straggly end again, wrap it round the back and pull through. That's two chains. Can you see? One V, then two V's. Wrap it round again, pull it through, three chains. Okay, so we've got 3 chains on our hook. It's important to be able to count the chains to see which is a stitch. So you've got 1V, which is 1 chain, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 stitches. You never count the one that's on the hook. So a 4th chain would be round, pull through, round, pull through. Again, don't make them tight, keep them quite loose. So you've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chains on the hook. So now you've learned how to make a chain. This is the hardest stage, but also if you can just keep chaining, it helps you to learn to hold your wool and hold the hook. And once you've got that, it also helps you to look at, you know, this, where your wool starts to split, and how to get your wool so it doesn't split. Wrapping, pulling through. I've used a really thick wool here just to make it easier to see, but your wool might be slightly thinner, so your chains might be a bit more open than this. This is a very sort of tight plait with thick hair, if you like, but a thinner wool would make, or yarn, would make a much more open braid. Going back to holding your yarn, some people do a method like this. They put the wool like this, they grip it with the little finger, then they hold the project with their middle finger and thumb, and then just wrap like this. Now, this is how most people do it. I find it really difficult to keep the tension right. But if you can do it in this method, I think in the long run it's much easier, but as I say, I find it really difficult to pull through. So just keep chaining, just keep on chaining and making sure your chains are sort of equal. Again, I'm going back to how I hold it, which is like this. Wrap it round, and then I kind of swap hands and pinch. Sometimes I maybe go in there like that. I'm sort of gripping it here, putting my finger underneath. It's just really important to get comfortable with this, because once you're comfortable with holding the wool, then of course you can get much faster. Right, back to how I normally do it, which is like that. Wrapping it round the back. Oh, see, split the wool and just keep going. Once you're comfortable with that, then we can start to make our fabric. Okay, end of lesson 1.